You join us in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. We're here because we were challenged to buy cars for under 50,000 Rand for a mystery challenge. And little did we know, we'd be tasked to complete a grueling 600-kilometer rally from Bulawayo to Victoria Falls that starts tomorrow. This entire experience is all part of Taylor's Africa Safaris, which by the way is a rally that's open to the public and attracts a wide variety of truly special vehicles. The only problem? Our cars are currently stuck at the Beitbridge border, 320 kilometers away from us, due to suspicions being raised by the border authorities thinking we were trying to import race cars. No thanks to our stickers and ludicrous rally tires.
At this point in time, it was 3 p.m. and registration was the very next day at 9 a.m. We had a tricky decision to make as a team, as leaving for the border now via a taxi would be a 4.5-hour ride to hopefully arrive there by 7:30 p.m. Which means that if this was to be as simple as just fetching our cars, we would expect to be back in Bulawayo by midnight.
And by now, we had received our fair share of warnings about driving at night. But reality started to sink in pretty fast that if we didn't act now, there'd be no rally.
Our only option was to get hold of a taxi driver who had picked us up from the grocery store a bit earlier, and after a few negotiations and $200, we were headed south to collect our chariots.
Which also now means our challenge has just turned into a 1,000-kilometer cross-country border-to-border fiasco. And with each passing kilometer in the taxi, I couldn't help but think how damn grateful I was that I hadn't chosen a Renault for this challenge. In fact, I was feeling really confident in my new choice of car, since I had to return the Hornet 5 days before we left due to a paperwork issue. And Dubz, he still has no idea about any of this. I guess he'll find out soon though.
This is the last stretch to Beitbridge now. It is completely by sand. And we're going to have to drive all of this back tonight. And this stretch is 20 kilometers all the way there in the sand. Trucks, cars with no lights, animals crossing. This is Africa.
Right, we are at the Zim border where Uber, or cab rather, dropped us off and then to get our passport stamped. From there, we either walk 5k's across the bridge, which crosses the Limpopo River, to get to the SA border where there's somebody waiting for us. And then obviously to pick up our cars, get them through, and then drive them back to Bulawayo, which is another 300k's from there. Or obviously then we just hustle a lift. So we hustled a lift from another guy who's going across, and yeah, he was quite generous. Let's go.
Getting from the Zim side to the SA side was a piece of cake. Our sponsor Vehicle Export South Africa even organized one of their border officials to escort us right up to our cars, where, as you can imagine, Dubz was very confused.
There, you can start to the thing too. Thank you. So damn shit.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Thank you guys so much. That is not an MC.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, we're on it. No.
Hey, what do you think of the Hornet? I have stories for you, Dubz.
And before you say this is unfair, life is unfair. I did what any sane person would do if they were tasked with driving across Zimbabwe on a moment's notice with a 50,000 Rand car budget. A W123 was the only answer. You know it and I know it.
If I make this and I beat Sam, man. Because that is definitely making it.
Oh yeah, I am gonna make it. I hope I make it.
And I've already named her Lady Godiva. And given the fact that she nearly has 500,000 kilometers under her belt, this would either be a walk in the park or she'd go out with a bang.
By the time we began the process of clearing our cars at customs, I was already too tired to rage on Sam for cheating. The paperwork and checks seemed to be never ending. Hours went by, checkpoint after checkpoint, and eventually we tasted freedom once again and were headed north.
We are through the border. Oh my goodness.
I'm really not sure what made this mission scarier. The fact that so many people warned us about driving at night, and here we were taking a leisurely cruise in the AMs, or the fact that this was the furthest either myself or Dubz had ever driven our cars, and there wasn't exactly much room for error here, as getting stuck on the side of the road at any point would certainly leave us stranded.
Oh, last toll gate for the night. What's the time? It's just gone 4 a.m. It's just gone 4 a.m. We left to go to the border at 3:30 or 3 o'clock, I think it was. We're not home safe yet. But we're getting there. Yeah, after everyone advised us not to do the drive. But given the circumstances of like trying to find a lodge at the most random hour of the night, and it was just a decision of guys let's just go back.
The next morning, on less sleep than you would have gotten the night before your matric final, we set out on our day's mission.
The first stop of our sleep-deprived day was rally registration, where we met a few of the other rally participants, and of course their awesome vehicles, with one such belonging to Tanya and Dom, who I'm sure you remember from our trip to Kenya, and they've brought along Mustafa the Mercedes, which is a W123 240D that's already conquered a trip to Kenya and back. Maybe one day when Lady Godiva grows up, and once Dubz was finished admiring the kind of car he should have bought, we had officially successfully made it to the start of the Safari Rally.
Are you the Bike Bridge Bandit?
How are you doing?
Fine, how are you?
So lovely to meet you, finally.
Very good effort, you made it.
Thank you. I can't believe it. It was very stressful.
Very good effort, well done you guys. I'm
We made
very
it.
impressed.
Thank you. We're super happy to be
Really
here.
nice to meet you all. Finally, I'm Bernie. You guys registered. Right, so Dubz, there's your file. I need you guys, or in your car, to each sign an indemnity form for me, please.
With paperwork complete, we turned our attention to acquiring a few spares for the road ahead. And when I say we, I mean Sam. Old car things.
Project to clean is actually a big one because the fuel quality is really not that great, so we might need to make use of the stuff Dubz. Project to our one.
I honestly do reckon I can drive the car as it is. It's his car that's got problems. Anyway, so let's just do this to make Sam happy, of which is very sneaky because he's already changed cars. So I reckon he'll buy another car by tomorrow. Just to oil is a must. Just have your own.
5 liters, I would say, for both of us, just in case.
Mate, that Renault, if it's got new service and oil, you don't actually need oil.
This much oil.
It's not gonna. Yeah, bro, it's not racing pipe and it's freaking gliding or shit. Oil is the least of my problem with that car. It's just.
You get a knock in some.
Huh?
You get a knock in some.
Yeah.
No, the guy said he's not worried about.
But if you do get a knock in your sump, yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that's the easiest thing to technically avoid. You can see the bloody thing and
Oh,
just.
well,
You
to
know
a
what I mean?
point.
The sump is literally the one thing that you can see.
And with that revelation, we made our way to a special surprise the Safari Rally team had organized just for us. Exclusive track time on the Bulawayo Grand Prix circuit. Back in the early 1970s, motorsport was very much alive in Zimbabwe. Lola Chevys and Ford GT40s roared down the main straight as the Bulawayo 3 Hours took place. The series went on for 3 years and garnered immense international press for Zimbabwe. But when the fuel crisis hit towards the end of 1972, the Bulawayo 3 Hour was wiped off the calendar. It was locally revived some few years later, and it still continues today, with a 1 hour race for bikes. But it's never received the same attention as it did during what was then the Springbok Racing Series. And when you've been given unfettered access to such historic tarmac, what else did you think we were gonna do?
Hey Dubz, bro, how amazing is it that we have this entire circuit to ourselves? What a privilege, man.
I gotta tell you, Sam, this is something special. And I think whilst we're at it, it's only fair if we do a drag race.
Haha, you are just looking for redemption.
Well, I mean, we are on a racetrack and we do have challenges to complete, and apparently this is our first challenge. And I have the perfect car here, so it's either you giving me excuses because you know you're gonna get dropped, or I don't know.
Okay, I'll drag race you on one condition, Dubz, because you like your conditions, so now it's my turn. You have to do it again, but in reverse.
How bad you're gonna embarrass yourself?
I'm gonna take a chance this time. I think it's high time I win a challenge.
I'll wait for you at the start line.
This is like the slowest Mercedes 123 that they make. It's the 200 carb, and mine is particularly slow because to avoid overheating, the fan has been like soldered onto the engine, has been like attached, so as long as the engine is running, the fan is running, which requires more power from the engine. So yeah, this car's very slow. And I've never put my foot flat down to the floor.
He actually just needs to make sure that that thing doesn't overheat, otherwise he's stuck here. As for us, let's go, baby. Let's go.
All right, we're gonna go on 3. I'm just gonna stay on here. Okay, ready? Not even brake boosting, okay? 1, 2, 3. This is it. My foot is flat. Oh, I've never really revved it that high. He's caned me. He's done. I'm sorry, Lady Godiva, but she did well. She did well. He didn't get off that fast, so yeah, you know, for science, it was good. Are you ready to lose in reverse?
Are we going around and coming back again?
Yeah, why not enjoy it?
It's been such a pleasure. This is honestly, I think, the best day in Africa right now.
Line your car up in reverse so it can be the best day in Africa for me now. Same as before, on 3. 1, 2, 3. You jumped! And he jumped! What? Even in reverse. No, man. No.
Okay, quick question. I did jump the start, hey, but I mean, I don't even think that it's appropriate for us to do this again because
It's not worth it, Dubz. That's 2 to you. Fair and square. And like and subscribe because, man, it is amazing to be out here right now at sunset. Bulawayo Grand Prix circuit, wow.
And after Dubz's victory, we headed to the official Safari Rally Gala dinner hosted at Nesbitt Castle, which was a spectacular venue to say the least. And believe it or not, this castle dates all the way back to the 1920s.
It was also our first time meeting Charlie, director of Taylor's Africa Safaris. Himself and Bernie are the brains behind this epic journey we're about to embark on. And if you'd also like to take part in a rally, the next one is happening soon. So get in contact with Charlie and Bernie on the email address on screen.
And the very next morning,
After 3 days in Zim already, having faced so many challenges, we are starting the rally. The first drive is 350 kilometers all the way to Wange National Park. Lady Godiva is fully loaded as we speak. She's actually squatting like this, and not like this 200 carb has much power anyway, so yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one, and it's totally surreal to finally start, considering the fact that we nearly didn't start so many times. We had cars, then I didn't have a car, then we nearly didn't have cars again. And this morning I started Lady Godiva up and she had a bit of a misfire, like a murmur. So yeah, not starting off too strong, especially not for the longest day of driving. We've left now, it's nearly 9 a.m. and they do estimate that we only get to Wange National Park where we will be camping for the night at around 6-7 p.m. Cutoff into the park is 6 p.m. It doesn't leave much room for any mechanical issues or anything. Like really, we are on a tight time schedule. If we happen to not get there in time, we don't sleep in the park.
Okay, let's check in with our co-pilot. Good morning, Sam.
Hello, Mr. Dubz. Has your Renault fallen apart yet?
I'm sure you've realized the people of Bulawayo absolutely love this thing.
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised at how much attention that Renault has attracted. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a great thing.
How is it running this morning? How are you feeling for the rest of the drive?
As confident as I was feeling yesterday at the racetrack.
Dubz may have been feeling confident, but it didn't take too long for either of us to realize the situation we could be dropped in. But mostly Dubz.
Currently, the car is running smoothly. Obviously, the car does have a wide track naturally, and obviously with these tires that are wider thanks to the spaces, the car sits really flat. When you're steering, it sits flat. There's very minimal body roll, and that's incredible. Now, the biggest thing though is the engine. So at some point, the engine would cut the power every now and then, and we reckon that our mechanic rather said it had to do with the tuning. So we sent the car back to Renault, and they obviously tuned it back to standard. They detuned it basically, and now it is just incredible. It drives incredibly well.
We're currently stuck behind a very slow moving taxi, and as you all know, we are pressed for time, and this is going to be Lady Godiva's first official overtake. Foot flat. Yes, Lady Godiva, I am speed.
And the power bandwidth is it's incredible.
We're gonna hit 100. Woo! Oh, what an achievement.
A few kilometers later,
Not even halfway, and my back is killing me, man. This road, they're not the one. And the tires, as much as they really help get the car through it, doesn't help my back any good. But I do have a solution. Come, face it. Oh man. It may look uncomfortable, but it's much better than what I was going through.
I've just received feedback from Dubz. We're still on the first day, and man's already has a pillow behind him on his RS Recaro bucket seats. I knew his back would be destroyed, and already he's got a pillow. I thankfully have my seats that have springs in them, so the seats are half of the suspension of this car, and already the suspension is magical. And by the time we end up getting onto the dirt road, we'll deflate the tires, and this car is going to be a lounge on wheels.
Here's the guys.
On the Safari, it's just... I can't do that. I cannot do that. As I was saying, the saving grace with this rally is the fact that we have mechanical support with us. So if at any moment any of us break down, we have dedicated mechanical support cars to come and help us sort the problem out, get us on the road again, rolling, moving towards one here. There are about 40 something cars in total on this rally, so you can imagine it needs to be a very well organized event, and we didn't know that we were coming on a properly well organized rally. We thought that we were just going to be thrown into the middle of Zimbabwe. Okay boys, now get to Vic Falls. So it is quite a relief that we do have a lot of other people with us. I'm sure you'll get to meet a few cool people. You'll get to see a lot of cool cars and hear some stories behind those cars. We still need to get to Vic Falls, and to get there we still have like another 400 and something kilometers to go.
The heat was absolutely relentless and the road had more potholes than anything else. And because Sam couldn't maintain any momentum, his ancient artifacts started to overheat. I can't understand how he loves these things.
I'm sure by now you're all wondering what my obsession with old Mercedes is. And I promise you guys, it isn't a bias thing. It's not... Okay, half of it is at least purely emotion. When Mercedes manufactured these cars, and they started making them in the late 70s, these cars were designed with a money is no object kind of principle. So the amount of money that Mercedes invested in building these cars is far greater than they've ever invested again on building any of their new cars. And they were built to the point where perfection was the only option, and the attention to detail in these cars is absolutely phenomenal. For example, all of the switchgear here, it is within a reach distance. Everything on the gauges, it is very clear and easy to understand. In fact, I'm kind of bummed that I didn't get to take the Hornet on this rally, on this event, and the fact that I then knew exactly what we were doing. I went and bought one of these cars because I knew that the Mercedes W123 or any old Mercedes W124, W201 like my 190E, these cars are practically indestructible. There's an old saying where they say, everything can fall off of this car, the doors will fall off, it will fall to pieces. But a Mercedes, an old Mercedes, will always take you home. And in fact, I know many people who have owned cars like these where they've been in a situation where they've gotten stuck on the road, thinking that they've broken down, but in actual fact, they've just run out of petrol. And that tells you something about a car. These cars have a beautiful characteristic of just wafting up and down the road. And this car has 500,000 kilometers. It's 20,000 kilometers away from 500,000. So it's near as 500,000 kilometers can be. And it starts first time on the crank. She's straight up to life, Lady Godiva. And that's the thing with Lady Godiva. It's the kind of car I can rely on to actually get us 350 kilometers to Hwange National Park and to Victoria Falls. And that is the goal with this journey. Get to Victoria Falls. Although Dubz's Renault is going well, these bumpy roads and everything, it's going to rattle that thing to pieces.
And just as I said this, we were ran off the road by a bus attempting to overtake a truck.
He's swerving. Sam's swerving.
No. You put your finger in it.
Oh no!
Turn it off. Did it leak over there? Turn it off. Oh, bro. Oh no. Oh, dude.
Let's check.
It is pissing with oil.
At this point, we still had 100 kilometers to get to Hwange. Repairing a bus sump on the side of the road wasn't going to be easy, and we'd certainly miss our 6 p.m. cutoff time. Stay tuned to find out what happens in the third and final part, and if you enjoyed, please subscribe.